Hello, I'm Dave. I'm a layperson who has been studying the Bible for a few years, and I would like to share this comparative Bible study on the genealogy of Jesus. In the New Testament, there are two main genealogies recorded. The first is in Matthew chapter 1, and the second is in Luke chapter 3. I'll first point out a few differences between the genealogies and then do a more in-depth look at Luke chapter 3 verses 34 to 38. This is a side-by-side comparison of both genealogies. The genealogy recorded in Matthew is on the left and the genealogy recorded in Luke is on the right. Please do not be concerned if you cannot read this slide. I'm only displaying it this way to show some differences at a high level visually. One difference has to do with style in how the Gospels record the genealogy apparently in a reverse order from each other. For example, I've highlighted Jesus' name in green. You can see that the Gospel of Matthew appears to end its genealogy with Jesus, whereas the Gospel of Luke begins its genealogy with Jesus. Similarly, I've highlighted Abraham's name in yellow, and you can see that Matthew begins its genealogy with Abraham, whereas Luke has Abraham towards the end. Just as another reference, I highlighted David's name in purple just to show that David is in between both Jesus and Abraham in both genealogies. This brings us to a second difference. You can see that the genealogy recorded in Luke on the right is longer than the genealogy recorded in Matthew on the left. This is because the genealogy in Luke includes an additional section of the bloodline that is not covered by Matthew. Namely, it reaches back beyond Abraham up to the creation of Adam and includes those additional patriarchs. Next, and I believe this is the biggest difference between the two genealogies, and that is there appears to be a different lineage between David and Jesus in both genealogies. Namely, in the Gospel of Matthew, that genealogy appears to go through Solomon, David's son, whereas the genealogy in Luke goes through Nathan, David's son. Lord willing, I hope to do a more in-depth explanation of this in a future Bible study. But for right now, I would like to do a more in-depth look at this section here, which is the section in Luke that is not in Matthew, namely between Abraham and Adam. Okay, this is the section from the previous slide that was basically enclosed by the red dashed lines. As mentioned before, unlike the genealogy in Matthew, which goes forward in time, the genealogy here in Luke goes backwards in time. So we'll pick it up with Abraham in the middle of verse 34. Abraham, which was the son of Thara, which was the son of Nachor, which was the son of Saruk, which was the son of Regal, which was the son of Phalec, which was the son of Heber, which was the son of Salah, which was the son of Canaan, which was the son of Arphaxad, which was the son of Sem, which was the son of Noah, which was the son of Lamech, which was the son of Methuselah, which was the son of Enoch, which was the son of Jared, which was the son of Maleleel, which was the son of Canaan, which was the son of Enos, which was the son of Seth, which was the son of Adam, which was the son of God. Okay, a lot of people find the genealogies to be difficult. Some don't like the way that it sounds, the repetitive nature. Some are concerned about not being able to pronounce the names being unfamiliar. Regarding the pronunciation of the names, I believe I've heard different Bible readers on the radio, internet, and CDs pronounce the same names differently. Also, different cultures can pronounce the same names differently, and I personally doubt that we actually know how they pronounced these names back then. So I try not to get hung up so much on the pronunciation. As you could tell, I just try to pronounce it in a reasonable way and try more to pay attention to just the differences between the names in order to be able to do a comparison. Okay, so moving along, a couple of references here. The creation of Adam by God, that is in Genesis chapters 1 and 2. And the genealogy from Adam up until Noah's flood is in Genesis 5, verses 7 through 32. We'll focus more on that right now. As you can tell, I'm using the King James Version. I'm not a King James only person. I have other Bibles and I do reference them. I do use the King James the most. I really like the King James in that I'm able to use Strong's Concordance, which is a really good concordance, to be able to look at the underlying Greek and Hebrew words. The Old Testament was translated mostly from Hebrew, and the New Testament was translated mostly from Greek, and those concordances can be very handy. So as we do a comparison with Genesis chapter 5, we'll see that some of the names look differently between the Old and the New Testament. For example, Mal'eliel here is translated Mahal-aliel there in the Old Testament, and Methuselah here was translated Methuselah in the Old Testament. Similarly, No here was translated Noah in the Old Testament, and Sem here was translated Shem in the Old Testament. I won't do that the whole way through. I just wanted to kind of give you a feel for how this looks. You can see that a lot of these names are similar, and when you do a side-by-side comparison, you can trace each name back and kind of figure out who they are. Sometimes it is more difficult, and sometimes a concordance can be helpful to figuring it out. And there's also other Bible commentaries too that can be used to assist us. Moving along to the genealogy from Noah's flood until Abraham. One name that's worth pointing out is Canaan, the son of Arphaxad. This is the only place I believe that this Canaan is mentioned. He's not in Genesis chapter 11 or any other genealogies in the Bible. I don't believe there's a lot of genealogies in First Chronicles. So I think that we can just do a little deeper dive here. If you look at Genesis 11, verse 12, you can see it says, Arphaxad lived 30 and 5 years and begat Salah. I think a reason for this difference could be maybe God showing us that when this word son is used, that could be used to indicate both a son or a grandson or even a great grandson. It could have been that Arphaxad here lived 18 years and had Canaan, and then when Canaan was 17 years old, he had Salah, and so we just don't know all the details here, but one thing that we do know is that the Bible is true and that we can trust the Bible and that there are logical explanations for these things. Well, I really appreciated your time here today. Lord willing, maybe we'll have another Bible study in the future. And until that time, thank you and goodbye.